So yeah, my name is Dylan. I play guitar in Meteor Maker, and I produce most of our music. Live in Coventry.
And I'm Matt. I'm vocals for Meet Your Maker. I live in a little tiny town called Stafford in the Midlands, big up the Shire. Yeah, and that's it really. I just jump around and scream and shout and a bit of singing. So
So you're Matt from the Shire. I guess the question we all need
that's
to
right.
know is how big and hairy are your feet? That's
Not big and not hairy.
the.
Technically, I'm from closer to the Shire, as I was actually born in New Zealand. So
Oh, was you really?
I was, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
fantastic. Let me show you something just right here. This is an official tea towel from
Oh, let's go.
Weta Workshops.
Let's go.
Um,
Come on.
it's Rivendell from Lord of the Rings.
That's
There you go.
amazing. That's great.
Thank you. There you
There
go.
you
You can't script this. You can't. This
go.
just how it goes. Right. Meet Your Maker. Just give us the little overview. How did you guys start? What's your mission? What you're up to in the alternative music scene?
Right, yeah. So Meet Your Maker has been I suppose it's been in the works for a long, long time. So long story short, I want to say a good 10, maybe 15 years ago at this point. I was in, well, no, it was more than that. When I was 21, I'm 30, nearly 36. By the time this comes out, I'll be 36, 35. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how old I am. When I was a young lad, I was in another band. It was not a Christian band, and we did some crazy touring, and it was amazing. I did all the rock star stuff with that band, and then they kicked me out because I couldn't commit to all the touring and stuff. And I said to God, I don't want to do music again unless it's for you. And then lo and behold, years later, I had the idea for a band name, which was Meet Your Maker, and I was at a conference, a Christian conference, and they got everyone to write down a prayer and then mail it to yourself. So they all took the envelopes and you put your address on it. And then a year later, I had this envelope turn up on my doorstep, and it was a picture that I'd drawn of little stick men, and it was Meet Your Maker, and I was like, oh, okay, God, yeah, I totally forgot about this. And then over the years, God just put all the right people in my life to enable that to happen. And today is the Meet Your Maker that you know. And I found Dylan on Instagram. There was mutual friends there, but I found him on Instagram,
Yeah,
and he was a local lad, well, local Midlands,
ish.
and
Yeah.
he was doing an awesome guitar cover of a song that I really like, and I was like, he's amazing. I'm going to poach him for the band. And he didn't want to begin with because he was studying at uni, and he was like, "No, I'm not really bothered about it." And I kept hounding him, and I was like, "Right, I'm gonna get back in touch when you finish your degree." And I did, and he was like, "All right, then I'll do it." And now he is the absolute machine behind Meet Your Maker, doing all the songwriting and stuff, the main songwriter at least. So yeah.
Cool, Dylan. So you weren't looking for a band when Matt reached out for you, were you? Or how did you get pulled into this lovely mess?
I was actually trying to start another band when Matt reached out to me first, which didn't really end up working out, probably for the better, to be honest. But so yeah, I was like in my last year of uni trying to start this band, and then Matt reached out to me, and I was like, I can't do another thing. Like got too much going on. Like, so I was like, listen, mate, probably not. But um, I think then actually a little bit after that, I was like, I'll get back to you once I finish my degree, and I'll see how we're going. And then uh yeah, after that I was like the summer that summer I was like, yep, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, well, what was
And
your
that
degree in? What were you studying?
I was studying at a place here in Coventry called Nexus ICA, doing popular music and worship.
Okay.
So it's just like kind of a little small Christian music college. They're actually closing down in a couple of years, which is a bit sad. But um, yeah, they've been going for like over 25 years now, and they sort of just teach Christians like music stuff, like professional music things, as well as instrument teaching, and then also like have some Bible teaching and stuff alongside of it.
Oh,
So
that's so perfect. So did you
yeah,
learn much on that course that you was able to implement in Meet Your Maker?
actually, funnily enough, not really. Uh,
He's just a natural
Uh,
born genius, is what it is. It can't be
because
taught. It can't be taught.
no, well, the thing is, so my degree was popular music and worship. The year after I started, they launched a songwriting and production degree, which I actually would have chosen if I'd started a year later. But my degree was just focused on like actually just playing. So I did like the guitar sort of pathway, which was good. Like I became a much better guitar player through that, which has obviously helped me meet you maker. But all the like sort of songwriting production stuff is kind of stuff that I've just been self-taught in really. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
So, but you obviously you was at a like a Christian uh, inspired a Christian foundation kind of place, wasn't you? And obviously
Yeah.
Matt's. So have you guys always been in the Christian faith then? Is that always been part of your life, or has there been any kind of like coming to faith story that we can get the scoop on this interview as well?
Yeah, I grew up in a Christian home. Both my parents were Christians. I didn't really become a Christian until I was about 17. Um, but I think I just kind of had to find my own way to it. Um, I'd been going to church like every day since I was born, pretty much, or every week since I was born, pretty much. But I became a teenager and I became rebellious and started hanging out with some shady people and started doing some shady things and started listening to this weird type of music called metal. And
Was one of those shady people Matt?
actually, no, no, no.
It's a good thing, bro.
It is a good thing. But yeah, so I eventually went away on like a little youth camp my parents made me go to, and there was a guy there speaking called Des Johnston or
Mhm.
Des Johnson. Des Johnson. He runs all the like Alpha Scotland stuff. Um,
Des is
and he was
amazing.
yeah, he's insane. He's such a cool guy. And he was just like telling his story throughout that weekend and through like just the Holy Spirit just met me there and I was just like, yeah, this is it. So
Yeah,
that's
very
kind of
nice.
what happened.
Hey, this interview was recorded for the UCB1 Rock Show, the only place on national radio in the UK currently playing Christian hard rock and heavy metal. If you want to tune in, even if you're outside of the UK, why don't you go check out the information in the first pinned comment and the description below. Okay, let's get back to the interview.
There's always got to be that point. I think we've mentioned this with a few of the other bands that like a lot of people, even if you're brought up within a Christian family and you get exposed to the faith from early doors, you've still got to get to that point where you stop adopting your parents' religion and you start like kind of finding and discovering and just really making that commitment for yourself. I mean, it's something that I get told a lot. I mean, I came to the faith like a lot later. I was in my mid-30s, so I never had that environment. But a lot of the bands that I've spoken to, even the ones in the Christian world, they've all been like, yeah, no, I needed to find this for myself, make a decision for myself, and I think that's ultimately what everybody has to do. Is that the same with yourself, Matt?
Well, so I similar to Dylan, I grew up in a Christian home. So my mum and my mum and dad and my brother still a Catholic, and I grew up in the Catholic Church. And I've got a lot of time and a lot of love for the Catholic Church. I think it gets a bad rep, and I think people fail to see a lot of the beauty in the Catholic Church. Similarly with the Orthodox Church, but so I grew up Catholic, and then the one thing that I never really that I ever really heard in mass was about like having a relationship with God. It was very much as a young kid felt like there was a God, and I believed that there was a God, but he was like a distant, far away thing that you pray to, and there wasn't really anything that you would kind of get back in terms of like you will never hear from God. Do you know what I mean? Or like have him speak into your life. So that was a foreign concept to me. So when I was a teenager, I just wanted to stay home and play video games, and then eventually I wanted to become a rock star. So I got into being in bands in the local music scene, and just kind of chased that really, and just chased all the youthful desires that you have as a teenager, and went a bit off the rails that way. And gosh, there's so many stories that I could tell about just God just coming through for me when I at least deserved it. But I think, I had a friend who actually is the co-writer and co-producer for our first single that we put out. A very good close friend of mine, one of my best friends, Ross McQueen. My best mate Ross, when I was 18, 19, 20-ish, he invited me to a Pentecostal church. And that was the first time anyone had ever put their hand on my shoulder and prayed for me and spoke in tongues. And I was like, what is this? Going from a Catholic background to Protestant, like evangelical, like moving in the gifts of the Spirit. I was like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So, big shock. And I had to do a lot of deconstructing of my original beliefs and my theology through that as a young 20-something-year-old, there was a lot of deconstructing going on there. But that's kind of it, really. God's just been really faithful when I have not been faithful.
It's funny when the word deconstructing is typically one that I hear quite a bit from like people who have lost their faith, fallen outside of the faith. I deconstructed my faith, or maybe they've moved more into like a progressive Christian kind of world, which is not really. I'm just going to say, I don't think progressive Christianity is Christianity. They don't see Christ as God in that way, but I know that you are like a rock solid Protestant Christian, you know what I mean? So I'm guessing that you deconstructed and then reconstructed your own. Was it more just like taken straight from the Bible? Was it? Or
it wasn't a complete deconstruction. So it wasn't like, do I even believe in God? It was just like, okay, so I know I still believe in God. I know that Jesus died for me. All the kind of basic core Christian principles that are shared amongst Catholics and Protestants, right? So that was there. I was just figuring out where do I sit in all of this, and what do I actually believe in? Even think a lot of the Catholic doctrine around communion and transubstantiation versus transconsubstantiation, which is like the literal or the metaphorical transformation of Jesus's body and blood being the bread and the wine. So all of that stuff was really interesting to me, and it wasn't something that I found particularly painful or difficult. I just had to be like, okay, so what actually makes sense to me? So it wasn't a complete deconstruction of my faith. It was I don't know, maybe deconstruction isn't the right word, just maybe like a reassess, I suppose.
Well, I think that just kind of comes back from what Dylan was kind of saying there about like, having to, being brought up in that Christian household. And then we was just kind of saying, hey, you've got to kind of understand your faith and make that decision for yourself. I think you've just basically investigated the faith and just tried to understand what faith is, what it means to you, how that applies to your life, what you believe is true. I think that's just an important part of everybody's faith journey, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to explore it for yourself. You've got to ask the big questions. You've got to look into it, because if you don't, then it's when something happens and you're at a crisis point, for example, and you don't know what you actually believe in. How sturdy is your faith? You've got to really
100%.
and not be afraid of the big questions.
I mean, the great thing about Christianity for me is that, like, if something is true, you should be able to poke it with a stick, and it should still, it should still be able to be real. And that's one of the things that I found about my atheism when I was outside of the faith for like, until I was in my mid-30s. It's just like most of the things that I believed, as soon as I shone a light on them and started thinking about them, it's just like, crikey, that's embarrassing. I actually believe that all of this order and design out there is just absolutely random chance, or like everything exploded into existence by accident from nothing. And all of this, and I'm just like, that doesn't make sense,
Right. And I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I genuinely think that true Christianity, not true Christianity, but I think it's, I think a lot of people, a lot of non-believers would say that having a belief or a faith is not using logic and is not founded in logic or practicality. And I think I am a very skeptical person. For a Christian, I'm a very skeptical person. I'm living in this Pentecostal world, right? Where there's so much spirituality going on. And I think there is so much factual evidence in the Bible. I'm not the first one to say it, and I won't be the last. But I think it's right, and I think it's okay to be skeptical, and I think it's okay to want to look for evidence and look for the practicalities in things, because it's there. There are some things that you do need to have a faith in and take a leap of faith in. It's called faith for a reason, right? Because we can't see God physically. But yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that the biggest kind of example of why Christianity is totally cool with asking questions and all of that kind of stuff is simply because, like, if you think about what the whole point of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus was, he could have just come to earth and just preach. This is your word, and left it at that. But no, he allowed himself to be crucified. He could completely have just not allowed that to happen, but he allowed himself to be crucified, buried in the ground for and on the third day risen, and then was seen by all of these people. That's proof. It's evidence. It's like, I want you guys to believe because it's true, and then put your trust by faith in me because it's true, because I've given you evidence. And I think that's like one of the greatest things, and it's what a lot of the other religions out there can't do. They haven't got that level of absolutely historically verifiable evidence, which it's what brought me to the faith, if I'm honest.
Amazing. You came to faith through facts and through like empirical data. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
100%. But it was only when I actually went through the front door of a church and was welcomed in, and then felt the Holy Spirit moving in that place and had a personal experience of this world as well, that I realized that, yes, that makes sense. And that's where I think when you're saying, you got to make that leap of faith as well. I think it's not either or. It's not either blind faith or, evidence. I think it's evidence and then also then faith. And putting your trust in the things that you have evidence for. That's what did it for me, and that's what it's just different journeys, and I think that's,
of course,
that's
it is.
Hey, real quick, if you're having a good time today, please remember to hit that thumbs up button and leave us a comment below. It really helps this to get shared out to more people. And if you really want to help do that, why don't you share this video with a friend or drop it in a social media group of choice? Okay, let's get back to the interview.
And I'll say this as well. I'm not surprised that your faith journey began. Well, your faith journey began before that, but your faith was solidified when you walked into a church, because I genuinely think that people need to belong before they can believe sometimes. And I think coming into a community and coming into a family, that sometimes is needed and is so crucial to making that decision.
Can I just
people
jump?
need to feel belonged.
Yeah. Can I just jump straight into an awesome segue into Rev Reality then? And
here we go.
Because how perfect is that? You're just sat there saying, hey, we need to this bridging process. It's as if like, you've done this before, isn't it, Matt?
Oh,
can't teach this, can you? No, but Rev Reality.
Fourth, fifth time on UCB. I don't know now. I'm blessed to be here, but yeah, Rev Reality. So I can talk a little bit about that, because it is intrinsically linked to Meet Your Maker, and it's partially how the band came to be, I suppose. But since 2018, my wife Sarah and I have been running Revolution Reality UK. Well, it was Midlands, and now we have become UK. But yeah, it's a heavy metal church based in Birmingham in the Midlands, and we hold regular events. At the moment, they're predominantly online, just because after the pandemic, that's just the way a lot of things have gone. But we do regular events where we basically hold a church service, but it's just like heavy metal, rock, hardcore worship, and we'll use worship songs from bands like Sleeping Giant and HolyName and other bands as well, and we'll cover other popular contemporary worship artists and bands and make them heavy. And essentially, it's a community for people who are, it's a community for everybody. Anybody can come and turn up and you're welcomed, but particularly catering to the rock and metal kind of subcultures. And the reason we wanted to do it in Birmingham is because Birmingham is the birthplace of heavy metal. It's where all the heavy metal bands first came from. You got Sabbath and Judas Priest and all those kind of bands, all came from Rum. So that's what we do. So if you want to be part of the community and plug in and connect with like-minded people who love Jesus and heavy music, then Revolution Reality Midlands and Revolution Reality UK is where to go.
Sick. Well, I'll definitely put some links to that in the description of this video. But there is an amazing event from Revolution Reality Midlands happening in December that you might want to just give a big shout out to.
Yeah, absolutely. So every year, Rev puts on a Christmas gig. It's on this year. It will be Tuesday, December the 10th. So we're going on a school night, folks. We're going risky, but we're going on a school night, Tuesday, December the 10th. We have headliners, an incredible band, Confessions of a Traitor, who are signed to Face Down Records, one of the best Christian metal hardcore labels that there is. They are headlining. We have main support from the 500. We will also be playing. Meet Your Maker will be playing and supporting. We've got an incredible band called Downpour from... I want to say the Midlands, but I think they're from the South, but they're an incredible band. Very cool if you're into bands like The Ghost Inside and that melodic hardcore. And we've also got friends in We Are Revival opening the show. So it's a 5-band lineup. It's stacked. It's a Dead Wax on Tuesday, December 10th. Dead Wax in Birmingham.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Are the 500 a Christian band?
No, they're not. No,
Oh.
but they're good friends with the 500, and they're a very, very good band. Same with Downpour. We wanted
Right.
to put Downpour on the lineup because first of all, they're an incredibly talented band, and we're good friends with their singer Rich, who's a lovely guy. So,
All right.
yeah, we got friends and just great acts that are on the lineup. So We Are Revival are a good Christian rock band.
Yep.
You've got ourselves, and you've got Confessions of a Traitor.
That's nice.
So it's a nice mixed lineup.
Nice. So what's your kind of thought about like how Christian rock bands are going in the UK at the moment, or whether there's like a Christian live scene? Because I'm not really seeing many like Christian live bands live around where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of feels like a lot of the gigs that we play are with just kind of not normal secular bands, which I kind of like, just because, yeah, like we can just turn up and just be cool guys and hang out with them, and then also just yell about Jesus and they yell about being sad, I guess. But you can also be, which is fine. That was a bit weird.
Is that because I haven't got Jesus, bro?
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun because like I think our music speaks for itself really, and a lot of the bands that we've played with have been really supportive of us and become good pals. So yeah, but it'd be cool. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to get at some point in the future just like a really cool community of like Christian metal bands, because I think it's not really a thing over in the UK. Like even when I was at Nexus, I was the only guy at Nexus who liked metal, and everyone there was a musician, and they were all Christians, and they all just liked Snarky Puppy and like all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But like it's a bit boring sometimes when you're the only metalhead in a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm trying to get people to kind of like come to the rock show, and like there's all this different music, and as I'm meeting more bands, I'm finding even more music, and I'm sharing all this stuff. And it's like there's so much really awesome like Christian metal, and just it'd be nice to if there was kind of more of just more of a community. Like it'd be great if there was like a big Christian rock festival, you know. So.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, like I could probably name off the top of my head all of the UK Christian rock metal bands. So I'm going to give shout outs if that's cool, Chris. I'm going to give a shout out to We Are Revival. I'm going to give a shout out to Barriers. Going to give a shout out to Hope Through Grace. Give a shout out to Confessions of a Traitor. And I feel like I'm going to be forgetting people now. Have I forgotten anyone, Dylan? Who have we played with? Who do we know?
Well, another band that I play with called KAB.
KAB, yeah, very good.
I'm speaking to KAB on Friday, on Thursday. Progressive, awesome, very, very good.
Bamusery.
So
they're kind of a softer rock band, but very good.
Still quite progressive. Yeah. Anyway, talking about opportunities to witness and play live, I am so stoked that in like a couple of weeks, I'm going to be able to just come and hang out with you guys as you do your thing live in Derby. Just give us a couple of minutes about that.
Yeah, so so I mentioned about the Christ-Mosh show that we've got on December 10th. That is actually part of a bigger tour where being run by Confessions of a Traitor. So it's their headline UK tour and EU tour. So we've got the December show with them, but then we were also playing with them in Derby. So that is going to be on, let me get this right, it's Thursday, November 21st. That's the Hairy Dog in Derby. So we're playing with those guys and a couple of other bands as well. So that's going to be an amazing show. Again, a very, very good lineup. Still some acts to be announced on that. So
Yeah, Hairy Dog is an awesome venue. Have you played there before? Have you been there?
No, very excited. Can't wait. I know it's a good one.
Very good venue. Really great sound. Seen a few good bands down there. Really, really, really good. Looking forward to going. So yeah, I'm going to be there as well. I'm really looking forward to going and watching you guys play. And I haven't seen Confessions, so I'm definitely going to be buying it. Are you taking merch? Because I haven't got a Meet Your Maker shirt. And
We will definitely be bringing merch with us. Yes, 100%. And Confessions of a Traitor merch is really good too.
great.
So definitely come and bring some extra cash. But mate, yeah, it's. If you're listening to this and you want to come hang out and meet your maker and Chris Dolby of UCB fame, then you're going to get a double whammy. So there you go.
It'll also be Meet Your Maker's first gig outside of Birmingham. I'm pretty sure.
Is it really?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We're going international. Wait.
So yeah, we're getting
Derby.
We're breaking out of the Midlands, or I don't know if Derby's still in the Midlands.
Derby's still Midlands, bro.
Oh, is
It's
it?
still
Oh.
the Midlands.
Oh man.
Although, if you haven't seen on our social medias, we're actually heading to Sweden next year, so that's
are.
kind of exciting.
Yeah,
So
really
we're playing a festival in Sweden, and I don't know if you saw, but last weekend, well, by the time this comes out, it'll be a few weeks ago. I've just come back from Germany, playing performing as a special guest vocalist it was a surprise guest vocal spot for HolyName at a festival in Germany, which was incredible because it was a complete Christian festival full of insane bands. Wolves at the Gate headlined with Disciple and Project 86. It was amazing. And that's the kind of thing that we'd love to see over here in the UK. But again, the scene's just so small.
One day.
We wouldn't pull 1,500 people for sure.
Wow. Okay,
Not yet anyway, not yet.
Not yet. Well, on that message of hope, that has been an awesome, awesome chat. Matt and Dylan from Meet Your Maker, thank you so much for your time today, guys.
Thanks for having us, man.
So that's Matt and Dylan from Meet Your Maker. Hope you enjoyed meeting those guys. If you do manage to see this video before the 21st of November, go check them out with the Hairy Dog in Derby. If it's after that date, in the description is going to be all of their socials, including all of their tour dates and latest releases. You keep up to date with them there. If you've had a good time today, please hit that subscribe button. Come back next week when I'm going to introduce you to a lady called Christoria. Fantastic new artist. You're going to love it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.